Hi everybody out there, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Once again, this is Medicine on Air with Dr. Betha. Today I'll be discussing stroke. Worldwide, 15 million persons suffer from stroke annually. Of the 15 million, 5 million persons die. Another 5 million persons have permanent disabilities. Stroke is the second commonest cause of death worldwide. Regrettably, more than 70% of this high burden of stroke, as well as the high mortality, is found in sub-Saharan Africa. That is why we need to talk about stroke. What is stroke? I love to introduce stroke with our local Nigerian languages. In my own Igbo language, we call it Mbabara, a hug from the spirit. In Akwa Ibom State, it's called a pomia, a slap from the spirit, or Akwa Ube, sudden paralysis. In Yoruba language, it's called Ofa, an evil arrow. And in Hausa language, it's called Shanaina, sudden paralysis. Our local Nigerian languages capture perfectly the very dramatic nature of stroke. And that is probably why we have that belief that stroke is a spiritual disease. No, please. It is not a spiritual disease. It is a medical disease affecting the brain. What happens is years of some disease gradually wreak their havoc on the blood vessels. It's like rusting a pipe over the years, and then someday the rust is enough to block that pipe. So when that blood vessel blocks, it's not going, the blood going to that part of the brain doesn't go. So that part of the brain stops working. And since the brain controls the whole body, whichever part of the body that part of the brain controls suddenly stops working. In some other cases, the destroyed blood vessel becomes weak or balloons out so it can burst. And so blood pours into the wrong space. It's not directed into the proper part of the brain where it is going to. And so that is what happens in stroke. The brain is a very greedy organ. It's just 2% of your total body, but it takes 15 to 20% of the blood released from the heart. So it needs so much to function effectively. So that's why anything affecting these blood vessels carrying blood leads to stroke and is devastating. Symptoms of stroke are sudden weakness of one side, sudden deviation to of the face to one side, sudden difficulty in speaking or inability to speak, sudden dizziness everywhere is rotating, or some may even lose consciousness. And so stroke is a medical emergency. It kills. Once you see these in anybody you know, the person is supposed to be taken to hospital in minutes, hours, or few days. Not what we see. The person is left at home, taken to one spiritual home, or taken for traditional medications, and this goes on for weeks, months. By the time they come to hospital, there's not much we can do. It's just rehabilitation and secondary prevention. Who is more likely to have a stroke? We have what we call risk factors. We have the ones that we can't do anything about. It's common in the older age, people who are more than 55 years. It's commoner in the male gender. It's common in the black race, you and I. It's commoner in persons who have a family history. Your father, mother, brother or sister had a stroke. You're more likely. But these facts, we can't do anything about these factors. And so the emphasis are on the factors we can do something about, modifiable risk factors. The uncontestable number one for us is hypertension. Hypertension is the commonest cause in sub-Saharan Africa. If you go to anyone and 10 people have stroke, 7 or 8 have hypertension. Others are diabetes, some heart diseases, excessive alcohol intake, air pollution, obesity, excessive cholesterol in the body, some heart diseases, some cancers, HIV, AIDS, drug abuse, and especially cocaine. These are the major risk factors, and they are within our power to control. If we can control them, then stroke becomes preventable. Remember, prevention is better than cure. Prevention is also cheaper than cure. So the take home out: 1, stroke is a medical disease. It can be treated in the hospital. The faster, the better, in minutes or hours. Number 2 is that stroke can be prevented if we take care of the risk factors. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Share this video if you like.